Um,
Mhm.
what do you think? Do you think the school district has any role to play as it pertains to student activism?
Um,
Maybe I'll make it a little more concrete. Should
well, there's you've made it as concrete. I'm just trying to think of um, an unequivocal answer in that I believe that's what we as parents saw as one of the broken elements of what was taking place in our schools and allowed by our school districts and therefore allowed by superintendents and boards was a disruption of school services around activism, where you would see examples on the news of um, I can't remember if it was East High School or South or North or wherever up in Denver, and kids would all of a sudden start pouring out of the building and go standing in the streets, and or they would just release the kids at a certain time because they knew there was going to be some sort of a climate protest up at the Capitol. I was there for that, and I saw thousands of kids, and it was the school day. It was like, do parents even know that their school age kids are here and not in the classroom? And so, um, fomenting outrage and turning that into avenues of activism by school district employees, I don't think is appropriate. It's what I know the board 2 years ago, the majority board ran on, was getting the politics out of the classrooms, especially if those politics or if those political views or those activist views go against the firmly held beliefs of the parents. What right do you have, school district staff member, of telling my children how they should think or feel about a certain issue? Teach them about the things we've talked about earlier. Talk about current events with balance. Try, if you're a teacher, I've heard several teachers say that if they could get through an entire school year and their students don't know their politics, they have succeeded. But some teachers wear it on their sleeves and they hang it on their walls. And you're not respecting at that point, I believe, that some of the deeply held, firmly held beliefs of the family and maybe of that child. Those young men and women, for the most part, just want to fit in. They don't want to stand out. Rare is the child that feels comfortable in standing up for what they truly believe, whether they're their Christian beliefs, their political beliefs, or whatever. Rare is it that that child will stand up and rage against what is happening all around them when they would be the minority voice. And so there are elements of intimidation that take place when you have an adult trying to lead children, students, towards activism. The mere point or the mere term activism means you're being active in support of or against a certain issue. That's not what that's not what our tax-paying dollars are paying you for. I do want the kids, if it's in an appropriate setting, whether it's social studies or civics or whatever, to understand a balanced view of what our society is like. Kids can see that on social media, on the news, if they watch the news, or podcasts or whatever. But am I looking for that teacher to be the sage on stage or the guide alongside when it comes to issues of our day? I want them to defer to the families and to the parents and not try to indoctrinate inside of their classrooms, inside of a school building.
So
Nor do I want them
concretely,
to encourage.
is there a policy that you would put in place to affect that?
I think that there are several policies, and I don't have any specific ones right in mind. And I spoke about one earlier when we talked about excellence in academics, and that is ensuring that the supplemental curriculum that is being used is not slanted one political direction or another. And so I believe there's a policy where balanced perspective needs to be offered. And again, parent rights to know. Uh, there was a teacher at one of our high schools, and of course, moms and dads find out about from their kids about these assignments. And this one particular kid comes home and says, "Yeah, our junior year language arts assignment is to read books on the banned book list." Okay. The parents asked the teacher, asked the principal first, or asked the teacher and the principal, okay, what is this banned book list? Where does it come from? Who generated it? And what if some of those books on the banned book list are banned because of age inappropriateness, or it's sexual in content, or what are you, what kind of protections are you giving that my child is not going to be um, required to read things that, once again, and again, the list was fairly broad, and I saw the list, and there's a lot of books on there that I thought, Huck Finn or To Kill a Mock are on the so-called banned book list. But there's also a lot of pornographic stuff that's on the banned book list that I don't think is appropriate at any age level in our school district. And so I think that's where, as a board member and reviewing, first of all, understanding the issue, seeing what is out there, deep diving into curriculum with a curriculum committee that the superintendent is starting, and then understanding the scope of what these things are. That's, I think, where I would approach this. Not in a knee jerk way. I don't come in and just try to blow things up. I want to understand what's happening first, and then um, properly guide.